Plank's the show. Ho, ho. Where you can come and hear about everything Buccos. Hey. Yo ho ho, come talk the plank with bros. Yes, bros. I earn my Gellion Zer as anger begins to grow.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk the Plank, Everything Buccos. The long wait is over. I am back. Angry Yinzer here, and with me for a full episode for the first time in what feels like half a baseball season, I got Pittsburgh Iron Mike. How are we feeling tonight, Iron Mike?
Happy to be back with you, Angry Yinzer, as always. Sorry about the long hiatus. You will know life sometimes gets in the way of things with the All-Star break. Just some shit's happened, but happy to be back. And you've been killing it with the shortstop while we've been gone. And I'm excited to just get into it with you as always.
And I'm excited to be here. I wish I could be more excited, but the last 6 games being 2 and 4 really don't have me feeling the most cheery I've been all season, that's for sure. There was a point last night where it felt like today would have been Christmas, win or lose, but unfortunately we couldn't pull it out in the 12th, and it has just been a sad day today. Our struggles against lefties continue. Lose 3-0, don't even really look competitive at any at-bats. Not feeling great.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I had this much skin in the game for a series in July. I mean, so you go up against the Arizona Diamondbacks, they hold that final wild card spot, and you go into that series a game back, and you're like, holy shit, like, this is the team we're competing for this wild card spot right now. We got 3 against them. I mean, if we can win all 3, we're up 2. Like, I just can't remember last time we had this much skin in the game this late into the season. I actually can't tell you. It's been since 2015. So, I mean, it's crazy how the narrative can shift in just one game, because if we win today, our whole narrative it's flopped just because of you win today, you got a game, you're one game ahead in the wild card spot. I'm sorry, you'd be tied. If you were to win 2 out of 3, you would be 1 game plus in the wild card spot. But yeah, tough homestand. You know, you want to win those games at home, and it's a heck of a stretch right now.
And the one thing I do want to bring optimistic-wise to this side of the table is we did just play the much harder half of this little 17-game stretch. The Cubs and Diamondbacks, really strong contenders. We go into a 4-game series in Cincinnati. We've kind of had the Reds number this year, just hoping we can maintain that, as well as the Reds just haven't been good in general. So we kind of want to bury the Reds, get them fully out of any thoughts of contention for the rest of the season. And then the Brewers, who we just swept, so we know that we can beat them. It's just which Pirates show up to that series. And then the Mets, who are going to be sellers and will have sold by the time we're playing them. So it's not the end of the world. Like, we can get back into this, and the Diamondbacks have some tough series coming up. I know they play the Dodgers soon, which that's a division team. The Diamondbacks have to play in that tough division, so we're not dead. But man, it really would have not. When we tied it up in the 9th inning last night, everything. It felt like I was texting people. It felt like we scored a touchdown and then had an instant pick 6 in that 8th and 9th inning to just tie the game, go all the way to the 12th inning, tie the game again in the 10th. No one scores in the 11th, and then let them score 1 in the 12th. We don't score in the 12th, which no more scoring happened for us after the 10th inning last night. We scored 7 runs in 3 innings and then didn't score again from that point on for the next 11. So that's what we're looking at right now. This Pirates team it's fun, man. It is fun to be contenders, but it would have been nice to come out of here tied in the wild card spot at the very least.
I mean, it is. We battle, man. That was a battle this whole series. I know today the 3-0 loss, the Wednesday matinee game got to us, but I mean, that's a battling team this series, and it's just nice to see the heart in the team. Like I said, this late in the season, but you're right. We're not out of it, and we battle, but we got 53 games left, so it's not time to panic because you're only 2 games out of a wild card spot. But it is time to respectively get your shit together, I would say. I mean, it's, you do have 4 coming up against Cincinnati, a team you should beat. Well, there's a lot of things we should have been doing already, Inzer, and we have been doing. And there's things that people didn't expect us. There's no way in hell we're going to be able to get done this year, and we've done it. I don't know what's going to happen. If you tell me the Pirates are going to split the next 8 games, I'd say sounds about right. If you told me they were going to lose the next 8 games in a row, though, I'd say that's not this team this year. We're not going to go down now. A 2-6, a 4. It's that could happen. But I mean, this team, we have something different here this year, and that's why with 53 games left, it's time to put the pedal to the metal. And I think the biggest thing to really think about here is trade deadline coming up on Monday. So there is a whole lot of speculation on what the Pirates and GMBC are going to do. And I have a little segment here called Hopes and Fears. I figure we just get right into it. Yinzer, I'll start with, what are your hopes for Monday?
I think my hopes would align with everyone else in Bucco Nation. We need relievers, man. A closer specifically would be awesome if we just had a guy that I could trust to come in the 9th inning and not allow runs. That would be great. We know the blown save stats. We know that the Pirates have been bad and need relief help. So relievers, and sooner rather than later, let's get one tonight. We need relievers. There's sellers. Let's get a reliever, a real reliever, not Marinaccio.
Oh, that's a part of my fears that I'll get into. My hopes I have here is I have relievers, and I also just have a utility guy. I think sometimes when you get into those playoff stretches, just bringing in someone new. I mean, you saw the Pirates do it in the early 2010s. They picked up Marlon Byrd at the trade deadline. I think that was the 2013 season. It was just another guy that played every couple of days in your outfield. Just add something. So maybe you could give guys like, if Tree ain't hitting well or Henry ain't hitting well. I mean, obviously catch a different story, but just easier to replace a guy who is in a slump or, not hitting the ball or you just not feeling it, right? I think that's something that this team could use, but primarily it's relievers. But my hopes is we can get a couple of arms and just some average replacement of another. Just put in someone else on that bench. Just change it up. I think it can go a lot further than you think. I'm just putting in someone, just to change it. I'm speaking in circles here. Relievers. I mean, you talk about it on Twitter a lot, Yinzer, and I think you said you would kill. I thought you said choke, but it was you would kill for a full-time closer right now. And props to us for getting as far as we have right now without that dedicated closer. And I'm just thinking about how far we would be ahead if you could cut those blown saves in half. It struggles. Anyone out there on the block that you hope? I mean, we all hope Mason Miller, but let's be honest, man. Who are we getting on Monday is the real question. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I can't think of people's names right now. I know the Mets have a reliever. It's like Detmer or something that's decent. Like, there's a few decent relievers where it's like, and you could also go to the Padres. Like, the Padres just have tons of guys in the bullpen not named Mason Miller that are also not named Ron Marinaccio. So
I was to say we already got one.
Yeah, no, there's Pirates, there's bullpen help all over the league, and I mean, there's guys. I think Mason Montgomery has closer type stuff. So even if you get like a really good setup guy and you decide you want to slot Mason Montgomery, you need a righty arm in the bullpen. We have a lot of lefty arms in the bullpen, so we just need someone who can get us outs from the right side of the plate or against right-handed batters specifically. And speaking of that, I want to go into a mini tangent here about the other decision from last night.
Let's hear it.
Because it's kind of that righty-lefty situation. The Diamondbacks had one left-handed reliever last night. They brought him in purely to make Donnie Kelly do something stupid and put Jared Triolo in the game for Jacob Gonzalez. He did. Jared Triolo got out and then got an error that would have kept the game to no runs in the 10th inning, but Jared Triolo bobbled a double play ball. So we I talked about it in the shortstop. These analytical decisions that somehow always seem to lead to Jared Triolo. It's got to stop, man. Jared Triolo is a good third baseman. He's a below average shortstop, and he's not a good hitter. Like he's an okay 9-hole hitter for like, hey, this guy's out there at third base purely for defense. So I'm like, or a replacement defensively at the end of the game. Pinch runner, he's quick. I don't need to see Jared Triolo start. I harped on it. The 2-hole stuff fucking blows my mind when he's in there.
Crazy.
So, yeah, no, it goes into the fears. I'm scared of. We do these things that are supposedly analytical decisions that I want to see the math, man. I don't trust the math that they're throwing out here when it has some of the decisions that we have been making. And if that's the math that goes into what we end up trading for, then that scares me. I'm worried that we might get too focused on, hey, like, yes, I'm fine with the utility man, but I'm worried that we're going to focus so much on the fact that we don't hit lefty pitching at all that we're going to be like, we need a right-handed bat. We need like a real right-handed bat. And it's yes, but also we're scoring. We're still a top offense in baseball. We need relief pitching. That should be that should be the number one thing in Ben Cherington's mind. You can get your utility man and your right-handed bat, but like that needs to be way, way down the list of what he's thinking about. He needs to make sure the bullpen is significantly upgraded before he even starts thinking about bats, which is what scares me, is that he's going to think the wrong shit. Cherington, I don't trust him to be smart. If we're just breaking it down to the real nitty gritty of it, is I think he's a fucking idiot. So I'm worried that he's going to do something stupid.
I would agree. And, I think this whole, and we'll get into the fears of the trade deadline, but so I think Don Kelly is pretty much an idiot. However, I wonder how GMBC how he views Don Kelly right now. Because if I'm GMBC right now, I'm thinking, be like, listen, man, I bumped up my payroll a lot, and I gave you guys a team, and you are underperforming. And I think that lands on the manager. And, a decision here, decision there. We have lost the significant amount of games this year due to Don Kelly, right? And I know that bullpen is not, I know he can't just put people in and take people out, like, making roster moves, but you could think a little bit, right? So do you need to put in Majinski for all these meaningless innings like he has the past month? No. I think that his job needs to be looked at of what are you doing with what I'm providing you right now? Because this whole Bubba Chandler, not going to the bullpen when Jared comes back and Carmen comes a piggyback, that cost us games. And we are talking we need to improve by 4 games in order to really solidify ourselves into a playoff spot this year. And I think you can blame some of this on Don Kelly because he loses us games. He makes decisions like that. However, we're so inconsistently inconsistent, he'll put Triolo in the 2-hole and we'll fucking win. So, like, I don't know where it's hard to judge him because of how sporadic, like I said, how we're consistently inconsistent. But I think that Don definitely needs a closer look at, especially if we do add some arms that are, make this team significantly better, and we have no reason that we shouldn't make the playoffs. Now, getting into that, I also wanted to add too, with the analytics, right? You and I were texting last night about how catchers calling pitches versus calling from the dugout, and we said that um, you know catchers calling the pitches is kind of the last pure thing we have in this sport. It's just you got a relationship with a pitcher, a good battery, and you go off vibes, and you're like, all right, give him the old dipsy do. All right, give him the fuck you fastball. And we have been seeing teams, start the whole, from the dugout. You guys can't see, but I got my hand up here of the calling the pitches. We get so analytical with things. I actually today on Amazon, I bought the Moneyball book because I think a lot of people misunderstand how analytics work in baseball and how we're overdoing it. So I don't want to see Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. I want to read the actual facts. I want to see how this method of thinking started and see if there's a way that I can exploit what we're doing now, because the whole analytical thing was recreating someone in the aggregate. Just basically, we lost our first baseman. We can't afford to replace him. How do we do it? But now we get into this whole like, well, if you look at his splits and his FIP versus his OPS, like we're getting too far into it, and I just want to be educated so I can really bitch about it. So that's just something I'm going to get into and start to read a little bit more, trying to make myself not as stupid. But speaking of stupidity with this team a little bit, what are the fears? And you mentioned about the fears for the deadline. You mentioned that we might get too fixated. What's the worst case scenario for this deadline for you, Yinzer?
I think the worst case scenario would be like sitting on our hands, and if we don't buy or sell, like if we just kind of do nothing because Sherrington is so overwhelmed by decision making. Like this is the first time he actually has had a competitive team here that he has to look at and add to. So if he's so scared to add the wrong piece that we end up doing essentially nothing, and like there's things that are something, like Jacob Gonzalez is a decent bat. We got Izard, who's a terrible reliever, which is
Horrible.
it's what I've continued to worry about is like we pick up people like Gonzalez who are good, but it's like we didn't really like. I'm fine with Jacob Gonzalez. I'm happy that we have another shortstop to put in there so Triolo doesn't play every day. But man, it's annoying that the reliever we got in that deal is dog shit. It's annoying that the only reliever we traded. I don't we Marinaccio. Why? It was like Urquidy, right? Or yeah, no, we traded Urquidy for some like minor league really
Yeah, we DFA'd Santana to make room for the Marinaccio. I believe it
Marinaccio.
was for cash. I think we got Marinaccio for cash and maybe a player to be named later.
Yes, you're right. No, it was for the international signing pool bonus
Yes, yeah.
cash.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we gave $750,000 of signing pool bonus to the Padres so that we could have Rod Marinaccio on the team. Fucking,
I
that's what
don't
I'm worried
even
about
know.
is moves
Go
like
ahead.
that, man. Like that's what worries me is that Sherrington might not know how to actually like make deadline buyer moves. Like that might actually confuse him to have to try and figure out how analytically he can fucking do nothing and feel like he did something.
So that the moves he's made recently is part of my fears. I have here too scared to give up prospects. I think he is so hell bent on the guys that he finds and the guys that he tries to develop. And key example of that is Jack Sawinski spending too much time in the Pittsburgh at the at the MLB level with the Pittsburgh Pirates in the MLB. He found Jack Sawinski. He thought, and that guy was freaking horrible. But they keep him around. He's too fixated on his prospects. Now, one thing that made my brain turn, because I'm trying to think a little bit more outside the box. We all listen to Pittsburgh Sports Radio and the DK Daily Shot. I try to not just repeat or just think the same things. Here's a little conspiracy I have. The password gets called up the other day. I think the password is up because the password's getting traded on Monday. I think that's a way to have, obviously he's a good prospect, and it's kind of a better bait saying like, okay, well he's in the system. He's with the Pirates right now. He's in the MLB, and he's done this over his past 6 games. I think the password is up for trade bait, and I want to know your opinion on that. Do you think the password? Am I onto something here, or am I high on catnip?
I mean, I think that's definitely a possibility. I also was like against Tyler Callahan going down in my brain just because he's like a utility man who has had some decent games at the plate. But I think he is down and going to see every day at bats, so that's going to be good for Tyler Callahan to get to actually see pitches on a day to day basis and not just sit in the dugout. But I don't mind the password getting traded. The password seems like a guy who might just be used as like decent player bait forever
Yeah,
because he just has that vibe to him. Like he was a clue on Jeopardy. He's like a guy whose name you know because it's stupid.
yeah,
Leo Stinkson, dude. Like I feel
yeah. I
like
can see him bouncing around.
it's like dudes like Leo Verpuero and shit like that. It's just like when you have a funny name, I feel like teams actually like remember you more, which is a stupid theory. This is just brain rot, like
No, you're
dumb
on to
thought
something, dude.
process.
You're on to
But
something. It kind of reminds me of I think Atlanta today signed Cooper Rush, and I'm like, Cooper Rush is going to bounce around the fucking NFL like crazy because it's Cooper Rush. Like it's such a stupid, weird name. You're right. People remember, be like, hey, get Cooper Rush. I think that's why Joe Flacco stays around. But that's football. Continue. Sorry, Yinzer.
it's just so I think like there's definitely trade bait guys on this team, and I just want to know who those guys actually are and prospects. You got to be willing to get rid of prospects. Like I'm not saying obviously you don't trade Seth Hernandez, but outside of that, like you have to be at least willing to see what guys like Florentino would get you. Like I get you don't want to trade Florentino, you don't want to trade Murph Gray, but also we don't know what's happening next year with baseball. We don't know if Florentino and Murph Gray are ever going to get to the major league level and produce the way they have in the minors. We just don't know that. What we do know is that we need bullpen help this year.
Yeah,
We
we
can
don't
win
know.
this
Yeah.
year. Like right now, we're above 500. It's about to be August. That's not a thing that the Pirates do. So, like, take advantage of the fact that you're fucking standing on your head right now. You spent the money. Ben Sherrington. We'll give you credit for the Lau trade. We're going to give you credit for the Ryan O'Hearn signing. There's stuff that you've done that make you look pretty decent this year, and I want to see that version of you. But the problem is the end season version I've seen of you is Brian De La Cruz IKF 2 years ago, and so far Marinaccio and Jacob Gonzalez, who, as fun as it is to have Gonzalez and Gonzalez out there, is just a bench replacement player, just like a Jared Triolo. He's nothing to write home about. He's a decent MLB bat. It's nice to see us get decent MLB bats, but I want a quality MLB reliever. I'm going to keep saying it and hoping that if I just
Take it
beg
into
for it long
existence.
enough that the universe will give me a good reliever. A good reliever. Like I want, and I'm a noob to baseball. We know this, but when I go and look at the guy's baseball reference, I want to see numbers that make me happy. I don't need fours at the beginning of the ERAs. I just don't. Like I
Don't
need to see
forget.
someone who's shutting people down, man. And
Don't
we
forget
should
about
have.
Isert, too. You forgot to mention he was we also got him too in a trade. It's Ben Sherrington makes trades the way like when you start a franchise mode on MLB and some of your tasks are like upgrade the seats. And then it's like make two trades. And so he's like, "Oh, okay." And then that's sorry for cutting you off there, but
No, I
we need a
think it's
reliever. You know, you're right. He's stupid in season. Postseason, he's got more time to think about it, and he just seems like the type of like person. He's kind of like a stereotypical like white woman who gets a little bit like frazzled when there's like more than one thing to do. And he's like, "Oh shit, trade deadline, I don't know what to do." And he's like, "Oh, get Icer. He's cool. Yeah, get him." It's like, and then Gonzalez and Marinaccio. It's like, because the part of my fears I have adding on to it is replacing apples for oranges. And I think that's exactly what we did when we DFA'd Santana and got Marinaccio, because I think he's going to run this team into the ground come trade deadline because I think he's too scared. Because as you said, as DK says, if you give up, if you want to get something, you're going to have to give up something that you don't want to get rid of. We'd all love to trade Marcelo Zuna for three fucking bullpen for Mason Miller and a sack of potatoes, but we can't do that. If you're getting that good reliever, okay, so let me ask you this. Obviously not Seth Hernandez. Who else to you, if you can name three untouchables this trade deadline, meaning if we're going to exclude Seth Hernandez from this, right? Who are three guys that doesn't matter who we get, these guys for us can't leave the team, can't leave the organization? Who would that be for you?
I mean, we're excluding Seth Hernandez. Are we doing guys that are on the major league roster?
Yes, like obviously, like I don't want to get, and you can use this one if you want. I'm not giving away B Ray to like have three arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I could be boring. Like you obviously aren't getting rid of Connor Griffin. You're obviously not getting rid of Valdez. Like Valdez is your only right-handed power bat on the entire team, and he's 22 with infinite team control. Like
Yeah.
If you're trading Esmeralda Valdez, you need to like get Mason Miller and prospects damn near at this point because that's how good Valdez has been in his short time up here. But yeah, those two guys, and then I don't want to see someone like you're exactly right, and I'll take it. Brian Reynolds, I want on this roster. Like Brian Reynolds is the one guy. It's like he stayed here. He took the money to stay with the Pirates. He signed long term, and look at him last night hitting the game tying home run after Lau makes it a 1-run game. Look at him with his walk off earlier in the year. 2 nights ago, he drove in the RBI that tied it at 2 that got us extra innings to make this not a sweep. So Brian Reynolds is clutch. There's been like some weird hate. People are weird, man. They dislike guys like Mangum and Gonzalez, and then they'll start to give Brian Reynolds hate. I'm like, okay,
That's when you
you're
just close
actually
the
just
Twitter app, dude.
yeah.
Just close it and like set a screen time limit for it for an hour and just get off.
Yeah, it's like dog. If you there's people that get complained about that are just stupid, and that's what I'm just worried, man, because we have stupid people here. We have a stupid organization structurally a lot of the time, and I'm just worried that we're gonna do stupid things because of that. Like I just don't trust the guys, but we have to. We have to trust Sherrington to make a move, and he's got what like 5 or 6 days to do it. So
So
let's
how
hope.
do you feel about maybe subtracting from the starting rotation to add to the bullpen? Obviously, I think Mitch Kellerk is possibly a candidate to go, and then I think something's going to happen with Majinski. What are your thoughts on maybe bringing that starting rotation a little bit down to beef up that bullpen, or is that just apples for oranges?
Well, I've thought that Carmen might be like in these weird pitching spots because they almost don't want to put him in high leverage because they don't want him to like blow up and lose the ability to be a trade candidate because it does feel like Carmen's going to go still. Like I know we said it forever ago when he went to the bullpen and threw a fit. It just feels like Carmen's still going to end up on a different roster and that we've just been waiting for the trade deadline to get max value on him. Outside, Carmen, I'm fine with. I wouldn't want to trade Bubba Chandler, but like depending, it's one of those things. There's like if Mason Miller's on the table, then like now we have to talk because Yohan Ramirez is technically a starting pitcher. Wilbur Dotel is technically a starting pitcher. So like, there's guys that I wouldn't mind seeing come up into the rotation, and they're like it's Skeens. It's you can't get rid of Skeens, and I wouldn't want to get rid of Jones right now. He's been the best pitcher on the team for the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I feel like obviously Jones and Skeens big ones, but as far as Mitch and Bubba and Majinski, and Ashcraft, I don't think Ashcraft's going to go
We
anywhere
know
either.
Ashcraft's not going.
Yeah, but eh, seeing Bubba go, I would get rid of Bubba for two arms that are throwing under a 3.5 ERA. And I think Carmen's going to go, but I also think that half your problem's fixed if you just put Carmen in the bullpen and leave him there and don't have him. Like, I know he pitched today and he pitched 3 scoreless, but like I don't really care. Like we weren't hitting. Everyone knew we weren't hitting the ball that game come the 6th inning, and then he just throws 3 meaningless innings. So your bullpen was kind. And I understand your bullpen was a little bit depleted from games 1 and 2. Carmen comes in and pitches 3 today. Well, now Carmen's going to be beat for what till Saturday? Like it's just he's not even being utilized in a great way. And I think you're right. I think they are just like get him in there and we're gonna get him out of there. However, if he's pitching well, just make him a fucking bullpen arm. Oh wait, where'd he come from, Yinzer? Oh shit, the fucking bullpen. Isn't that crazy? I we need the arms. I'm scared like you. I'm trying not to be pessimistic. I'm just worried that we are going to try to do weird shit like get Marinaccio for international pool money. If I had to try to explain that to like a 4th grader, I don't even know how I would explain that. Be like, well, you see, I got a mower and then I got rid of my mower to get a mower that works even worse than mine, but it takes less gas. Like I don't even know how I would explain that to someone. You got Marinaccio for 750 grand of international signing bonus. What the fuck? Like that just doesn't make any sense. And I'm worried that that's the trend, man. I'm worried we're gonna do some shit. We're gonna bring in a reliever, and it's gonna be like Wilbur Dotel has been sent to AAA to make room for blah blah blah, and you got him for like some weird like you gave up like two guys in high A. They're like 22 and just shouldn't be playing high A. I think that's my worry, and I think if that's the case, then what sucks is if that's the case, you're gonna miss the playoffs by 2 games, but Nutting is gonna see that as a win. Is gonna be like, we were so close when you can't have that. And I think we're out kicking our coverage that we got to do something or else the cycle's going to repeat. You know what I mean? That's just kind of I've been saying it for a while. I'd rather have the Pirates go 10 games under 500 and miss the playoffs than to go 2 games under 500 and miss the playoffs or 2 games over 500 and miss the playoffs, just with the outlook of the next season. But we can go on and on about this trade deadline. We all have. I don't think anyone is like, I love Ben Cherington. I love what we're doing. It's 500 baseball, and this is the ups and downs you're going to get. And I kind of feel bad for the viewers that listen. It's like because every time we get on here, we're like, well, we're 500, but we'll know a little bit more in a week. And here we are, week after week. It's the same shit. You know what I mean? It's just the difference is, well, Carmen doesn't want to pitch to. We're 500 still, and Carmen pitches in stupid games. So. Now I have a little tip. I'll kind of move on from the trade deadline if you're okay with that. But I have here a little bit of numbers here for us. So the next 53 games, if the current trend lands, you know how we win one, lose one, we're on pace to go 2 games over 500 to 82 and 80. Now that would put us at 2 back of a wild card spot. So we're thinking 84 and 78 ties us for a wild card spot. So that should be the goal. But I think that 86 wins, so 86 and 76, would safely get you into the playoffs with how things are going. You know, you're 2 games back at 500. Let's call it 86 games. So that we need to get better by 4 games. We need to be 4 games better. We're 1 game over 500. We need to be 5. So 4 games over the next 53 games. That's so tangible. However, it's not as easy as it sounds. 86 games is 5 games over 500, and we've only spent 1 day all season on June 4th, 1 game over 500. I'm sorry, 5 games over 500. We spent 1 day at that threshold, and we haven't had a winning August since 2016. So the clock is ticking. I mean, it's not. We're not quite in our final 24 hours, but we got to get over that hump, Yinzer. And I'm going to pull the pessimist out. It's like I feel like if we haven't done it yet, we're not going to do it now. So if you could kind of tell us why we should be hopeful, and maybe I'll hit you with, maybe I'll just kind of play devil's advocate to that.
So, yeah, let me take the optimistic side, as I've been trying to do, because last year's Pirates team was just so life-draining that the way this year feels is special. Like, I'm trying not to be down the whole time because this team is, like, done so much more than any of us would have expected them to have done at this point in the season. So I don't, like, if you asked us at the beginning of the year, neither of us would think that we'd be right where we are right now. So the one thing I would, like, you were saying it earlier, we keep saying we're going to know more next week. This time is the one time that I can promise you, everyone listening, we will know more next week. Like, it will be much easier for us to say how we feel about the outlook of the rest of the season once we know what this, not final roster injuries and call-ups and downs still happen, but once we know what the team looks like after the trade deadline. Because you say it's harder than it sounds, and it is harder than it sounds to end up 4 games over 500, but it's also a 5-game winning streak. And it's like, all right, well, now you're just kind of coasting a little bit. You can go back and forth and win games, lose games. And a 5-game winning streak sounds a lot more tangible if scoring 4 runs is enough than instead of scoring 8 runs to win baseball games. The fact that we have to score 8 runs, like, yes, the coming back from down 6 was awesome. Bubba Chandler also shouldn't allow 6 runs. Those are the kinds of things that if we have a better bullpen, when Bubba's letting up 3 early like that, hey, let's get the long reliever in. We know the closer will get us out of this if we can hold it to 3. That's the kind of thing that a couple true good, hey, this is your 8th inning guy, this is your 9th inning guy. If you get that set up, however it ends up set up, but if you truly have that, then all of your middle relief guys can be more confident. They know, hey, I've got 2 guys behind me that if I can just hold this scoreless, like, our offense can score. I can end up with a W on my record by accident if I could just I put up a 0, these bats could come alive at any point. And they can. We saw it. The bats looked dead for 8 innings or for 7 1/3 innings yesterday. And out of nowhere, 6 runs. This team is for real. They battle. A reliever, 1 very quality closer, 2 decently high quality relievers, some like one of those sets of combinations of things traded for. And we are a team that can go on even a 3 or 4 game win streak. And a 3-game win streak puts you at the 5 games over 500 you want to be at. You can drop and you can go back and forth every game for the entire rest of the season if you do that. It's 1 set of 3 games. Sweep the Reds. Look, there are your 6 games. Let's sweep the Reds, 6 games over 500. That's how easy it is, man. It sounds hard. It's not.
Well, the reason why I'm going to say, go ahead, go. I like finishing thing. Good.
We're playing bad teams. That's really just the Mets are bad. The Reds are bad. The Brewers are good, but the Mets and Reds are bad baseball teams. You're playing 11 games. 7 of them are against bad baseball teams. So find a way to win at least 6 of the next 11.
Okay. I feel like this is kind of like Judge Donnie in on the PM team here. We have not won 5 games in a row all season. And you say that, and this is no animosity towards it. It's just kind of playing devil's advocate. You say, all right, well, we're about to play some bad teams. We played bad teams all season long. We played good teams all season long, right? So it's hard for me to be optimistic about the team that. How did that series go in Colorado? Right? We play against shitty teams and games we should win, and we lose. So the fact that we haven't had a 5-game win streak all season and we're 109 games into the season, I'm like, well, when's it going to come? Right? Like, I'm waiting, and we're still a game above, a game below, a game above, a game below. 5 games over 500 was the absolute peak of our season. 70 games in. Right now we're at 109, and we still haven't been able to reach that again. And we weren't even able to hold that. So I always tell you, I'm like, dude, we just got to hope the season ends on one of those days that we're just like, we win 2 in a row. That's how we're going to get in. Now, I will say about Ben Sherrington and this whole bullpen arm thing. It's coming together because we were like, we need bullpen help early on in the season. We're like, need it. And we didn't do anything. And we're like, oh my God. Now we're like a few days away from the trade deadline, and we're still at where we were when we were in such that big high panic mode. So that's a huge W. The fact that we are not just absolutely in the shitter right now because we didn't get a bullpen, that makes Ben Sherrington look very smart because this team was able to hang on until this trade deadline to maybe really beef it up. Now, obviously, we got into what is he going to do, what's he not going to do, whatever. That ship has sailed for this episode. But I will say that it's going into the trade deadline with this Pirates team, it's just survive. Just don't lose 3 in a row. If you lose 2 in a row, come back and win the next one, and so forth. Battle it out, right? Now you're sitting here 109 games into the season, 1 game over 500. I don't care how it looks anymore. There'll be times we win a game, we're up big, and the bullpen comes in, fucks it up, but we still won on a walk-off, right? I don't care anymore. Just get your wins. Right? That's all we need to do. I don't care how it looks or what you need to do. Just do it. If you have to throw Wilbur Dotel in there, you have to do some weird shit, call him Callahan down and bring up the password, whatever it takes, a win is a win. Because now, once you do get some, if you do get some running room and you do get a few games over 500, you have less games to fuck that up. So I'm hopeful, and I'm trying not to be as pessimistic, but the Pirates just haven't done what you want us to do all season, right? It has been a struggle to stay a few games above 500. It has been a struggle to get a winning streak. The highest winning streak we've had all season is 4 games. So I'm worried that this trend. I called into the fan yesterday and I got on and I just said I'm worried that this trend's going to continue. Don Kelly's going to fuck this up. GMBC is going to fuck up the deadline, and we're going to finish 80 and 82. So that's the 40-minute mark here. So we try to get the people in around 45. So whatever you want to do, if we wanted to wrap it up with some closing remarks, that's all I had on my sheet to talk about today. So that's kind of like my view on things. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I think to close, just repeating ourselves, but it's important is that we know that our next episode, whether it's happy or sad, we will have a trade deadline that is coming past. So we will actually have something solid to talk about how we feel about that isn't just 500 Pirates baseball, because we haven't really done anything that moves the needle one way or the other. And the dogs wanted to get one little touch into the episode. But hey, if you stuck around this long, you might just hear some silence for a second. But the we want to come back next week with a shiny new reliever, maybe a couple shiny new relievers, and we want to actually like make a push for this playoff season. I said it in my shortstop, but this city is starving to win. We're starving for October baseball, so we should be doing anything it takes to get October baseball this season. Not Seth Hernandez, but sell the farm if we have to, like make this team competitive. That's what gives me the hope that we could win 5 games in a row, is that, like we've just been saying back and forth, we haven't gotten those relievers and we've continued to tread water. So what could we look like with real relievers? We don't know. Like, we really just don't know what this team's going to look like a week from now. And once we know what the team is, then we're going to have a lot better idea of what we can do. And I'm excited to see. I've been having a great time with this Pirates team, and I'm just ready to continue having a great time and hopefully continue to be able to, like, even if it's having my heart ripped out, just care through August, through September. Those are the things we're looking for. And, I mean, the only other bright side is if it all turns upside down, Steelers training camp started yesterday, so we've got something to look forward to in the city.
For sure. And you're getting your money's worth with S&P 360 this year, Yinzer. So congratulations to you. I don't know if you switched to YouTube TV or not, but no free ads here. Yeah, I think definitely we're going to have a lot to talk about. I'll keep myself free for Monday because I think we might have to have an emergency meeting for the people, because Monday's a trade deadline. I'll be listening to MLB Network and 93.7 The Fan all day, and I'm hoping we have some good. And I feel bad if you guys listen this far. Thank you so much. I feel like we do talk in circles, not in a bad way. It's just that's just 500 baseball. It's like, okay, well. We went 2-4 this whole series, and then we'll go on the road and go 4-2. So thank you guys so much for listening, and keep an eye out. We got a big rest of our week and a big weekend coming up, and obviously Monday's the trade deadline. So say your prayers for Ben Cherington to have some competency, and like Yinzer said, Steelers training camp. I'm really excited to just kind of cover that when we get all the sports going on at the same time with you, because this isn't going to stop when the season inevitably ends. We're always going to bring something to you. So if we got you into the baseball, keep following, because we'll try to get you in as much as possible.
Hey, yep. God bless everyone. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Like, subscribe, share with somebody you know. And like I said, hopefully we come back next week with a couple of shiny new relievers to talk about. God bless everyone.
Yes, sir. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
show. Ho, ho! Where you can come and hear about everything Buccos. Yo ho ho, come talk the plank with Rose. I earn my Gellions as anger begins to grow.